actually devastated by some news that we heard last night. Benito, or Benoit, aka Benito of Artifact, RTFKT, passed away, surprisingly, at the age of 41 years old. 41. And absolutely devastating. It hit me a bit last night, which is strange because I've never met the person. I've never met him. But he was involved in my life in many ways. So let me tell you about it. And it's a tragic loss. It's a tragic loss for mankind, for the world. In the sense of, he was a builder. He was a leader. He was a pioneer. And created things that created a community of people all around the world, across from Japan to America to, all over the world, literally everywhere. Community of people that were admirers or holders, appreciators of the artifacts movement, and the friends that they'd made in that space. And honest to God, Artifact, RTFKT, were owned by Nike. Nike are like really the only blue chip company that owned a Web3 entity, at least of this sort of scale. And they created things like wearables, digital NFTs that you could then forge into real versions of clothing, shoes and hoodies and whatever. So the events, the gatherings, I'll tell you guys a bit about it. So I worked for a project by a guy called MGXS, Fernando Magales. He was the mad scientist for Artifact, RTFKT. So he's been very, very close with Benito and Benoit and the other co-founders and the rest of the team. And working with MGXS was amazing, but I felt I was in that circle. I was around. I was at events with the team there, and never got to speak to him. I always felt, there may be another time that I'd probably chat to him when it was a bit more, when it made a bit more sense. There was no reason for me to talk to him any time prior to this, so we never did. But a bit of regret, because maybe I should have, but also I feel, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know his personality or his character, but I may have been not necessarily the fairest in the past as well with certain things. Assumptions or hearsay or whatever, and it's something where, hearing the news last night, it affected me, and I cried a bit, because if it wasn't for Artifact, I wouldn't have been so into the NFT world. I wouldn't have got my job with MGXS. I wouldn't have met my wife, and everything that we have, the life that we have, it wouldn't have been real. It wouldn't have existed. Maybe something completely different would have occurred and brought us together, but I can't think of anything that would have. It literally brought my wife from Poland, I'm from England. It brought us together at a party in London. We were friends for years before that. And it was other friends as well. It was a few of my friends' birthdays that day at the O2. And it's just a remarkable thing to know that these guys built something. They built something from an imagination, a concept in their mind. Internet of Things wearables on the blockchain. They developed this technology with a dream and a vision they had, and they worked with artists like Jeff Staples when they first came out. Jeff Staples collaborations with the Meta Pigeon. They did collaborations with Takashi Murakami, one of the most famous artists in the world. Fantastic artist. So they did some amazing things, amazing collaborations as well. It's that what they built, it changed lives. It gave us a heavy point of interest. Artifact, the CloneX, everything about Artifact had us hooked. I was buying space pods, loot pods, loads of stuff of them back in the day, and I still have loads of the stuff. I still rock my Artifact trainers, my brand trainers that I wear with the space sort of silver ones. They're Artifact, RTFKT/Nike. So this stuff had a massive impact on my life, and I actually felt last week, I was thinking to myself, as I saw their posts on Instagram, on Twitter and whatever, thinking, I'm building on the plus. You know, it's been a long way since I was with MGXS and doing Genesis. These guys closed Artifact, or stopped the project, I guess, the stopped development a good while ago with Nike. So I was wondering, you know, wonder what these guys will do in future. I wonder what else they will innovate and bring to the world. And that was just a thought I had last week. I guess that's kind of why it really impacted me, because, like I say, I feel like we're in the same world. We're building, we're innovating, we're doing things that are not your conventional stuff, a bit out of the ordinary. But in that sense as well, I also met a community of people that were also like-minded, into similar things, problem solving and into tech. And like I say, my wife, you know, what would never happened. That would never happened if it wasn't for Artifact. So I just wanted to say that if you have intentions of innovation or building or anything that you want to do that is in your heart, your purpose, these guys chase, I feel like that was their purpose. Now, I don't know the guy. I understand it may have been a shock of his passing. And at 41, you know, I don't think he had any health implications or anything like that. So it's either an accident or, I guess, mental challenges and things, I guess, got too much. One thing I know from personal experience, being a community manager for MGXS and Genesis, is you take a lot of heat in this community, in this space, sorry. The Web3 space is kind of anonymous. You got keyboard warriors everywhere. And people feel that they can say anything to anyone and do what they want without any repercussions. And I put myself out there and defended MGXS when he was getting attacked from the community like crazy back in the day, as I'm sure you guys may know. So I fully appreciate that people have been quite brutal to people in the Web3 space. And if that was something that did occur, and it is something that kind of was part of this passing, then it's absolutely devastating. And it's something that we should all look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable and think, is this really who we are? Are we keyboard warriors to sit there and accuse and cuss people out to the point of where, I'm not saying this is what happened, but to the point of where it really impacted MGXS's life. It really impacted my life. It could have impacted Benito's life. I don't know. I'm speculating right now, but I know it definitely impacted MGXS's life, where he went away for a good while. It affected my life for sure. And this is why I'm building ONDA Plus, because of the stress and the burnout and the abuse that I got. It was a horrible job. I didn't want to do it for a year of it. I told MGXS I didn't want it, but he was like, well, who else am I going to put in the place for you? And sort of need protection as well. Like, I was the front man taking the hits from everyone. So I can really appreciate, you know, and Artifact and Benito, huge in comparison to me and Genesis. So it's like the scale of abuse and trolling and stuff and comments, whatever, would have definitely been 100-fold more than what I received by far. And I feel like if that is the case, like I say, if it had an impact, then that is something we should really be looking at ourselves and thinking, is this what we want from the space? Is this what we want for people? For the people that are building and innovating and trying to help our lives evolve and for technology and for the world to get better and improve? Is this who we are, that we sit there and heckle these people till they give in and there's nothing left? Because that's how I felt. I didn't want to work for the community anymore. I didn't want to work for MGXS anymore. And I loved that project. It was my passion project. And I didn't want to do it anymore. MGXS didn't want to do it anymore. I'm not saying for Benito, but I can fully appreciate if that was a factor. Like, I don't know the details. I never spoke to him. But it is a tragedy. It's such a tragedy, because we'll never see what else could have come out. But I am a believer of destiny, fate, and things happening for a reason. And I guess, you know, if you're passing at 41 years old, then I'm hoping that what you've done, maybe your purpose was achieved, and creating something like Artifact, which impacted lives all around the world and brought people together with a common love and a common goal. Was that the purpose? I mean, it changed my life. It changed my wife's life. We're a product of of Web3 of RTFKT, and it just really upsets me that well, it may not have happened if it wasn't for this, but it's just devastating to know that he's gone. Really, really weird for me, because like I said, I never met him. It's a weird thing that I never thought I would be so emotional by it, but it really bothered me. And maybe because feeling some sort of similarity, I guess, in the sense of being a builder, being a problem solver, being, you know, having your imagination and just trying to bring it to the world, and having support and having the challenges. I guess I can empathize and appreciate that side of the journey. Just wanted to share this with everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. It's let's not take it for granted. Let's not take things lightly. You know, check on people, love people, build what's in your heart and your mind, and just live with no regrets. Life's very short. It's way too short. You never know when it's going to be your last day. So make yourself proud. Do something that you'll be proud of, that your future self will be proud of, and treat people with love. Have a lovely day, guys. Peace.